Let's do it a little bit more Socratically. I'm questioning why they're so confident, David Susi. You know, the first couple of pings, they said, oh, we're only a few miles away now. Now they get more pings, and they think, well, it's even a bigger search area. Where's the confidence coming from?
The confidence is coming from two places. One is that the equipment that they're using is reliable. Second of all, the fact that it is something that can't be anything else. They're ruling out other things. They say, well, could it be a whale? Could it be volcanic activity? Earlier on, we were saying those frequencies could be produced by a number of things naturally. But Angus Houston said today that they've ruled out that this is a natural event. It is a man-made event.
Further testing it. It's a man-made event. But why isn't it in Pakistan? Are we foolishly ruling out all of these scenarios as far-flung as they were? They used to be almost equal with that it went to the south, Mary. Do you believe that we now have enough reason to dismiss everything else and focus on this one area?
I do, because over the weeks that we have been following this, pieces of data have come in and have been analyzed. At first, we didn't have really much to go on at all, but thanks to Inmarsat, additional information concerning the turn of the plane, information concerning the fuel burn, possible speeds, although I don't have the airspeed down exactly, but possible fuel burns, and finally the capstone of not the pings just on 1 day or 2 days, but now able to be replicated and be tuned into day after day. That's the reason. It's that the investigation has progressed, and we have far more data now than we did a month ago.
The duration and strength of the signal seems to be less now. You believe, David Susi, that's about battery life, not proximity to signal, yes?
It can be both. The proximity to signal is one thing.
I'm forcing you to take a side. I'm forcing you to weight one side over the other.
Well, I'm saying that it is because of battery life, yes, because the frequency is lesser than it should be, which can also be affected by battery life.
But it also could be lack of proximity. Why is it less likely that?
Well, because lack of proximity is amplitude. And amplitude travels through the water. We're not talking radio frequencies here. We're talking about acoustic movement of the pressures against the water. So as that goes, it propagates, it bounces, and it goes and it moves around. That's why we're so far apart on where these things are coming from. But I don't think I answered your question yet.
You didn't, but you used science, and it confused me. So now I'm going to run away from you and go to Mary. Mary, when we go to this next level, I understand the issue about refraction. It moves differently in water, and that's why they have more confidence that even though it's weaker, it's not about proximity, it's about battery strength. I get it. But what I don't get is the next frontier. The bottom of the ocean presents just as many, if not more, challenges as the top. Why?
That's right. Well, because the bottom of the ocean is so irregular and so very, very deep. There's actually the possibility that at some points in this part of the ocean, even the submersibles won't be able to reach it, which is why I think they're making certain that they are hedging all bets and getting every ping that they can on the surface before they head down deep, because if it's months and months before they actually find it down deep, then they'll regret not taking advantage of every possible ping to narrow that in and make that circle of interest as small as possible.
For the Titanic, they were able to get satellite images of the ship sitting on the bottom of the ocean. Why can't they get those with this? Now, so many years later, everything's so much more refined. Where's our satellite photo?
Well, this is after 75 years of looking for it. This is narrowed down to a certain point so that specific types of satellite can be used to determine whether or not it's magnetic, whether it's metal, whether it's rock. So that's developed over many, many, many years. But this, we're talking about a new area, and as Mary said, trying to narrow it down. You realize that if we're at 25 miles, we're at 3,000, 4,000 square kilometers. If you narrow that just by a mile or two, it's exponentially less mileage to cover once you get the AUVs down there.
Last variable that we've heard introduced that will sound odd to the uninitiated, Mary, silt. After everything you've had to deal with, you're worried about silt on the bottom of the ocean? Why?
Well, for two reasons. One, because it's going to obscure the vision of not just the sonar will be able to go through that, but they also need to take pictures. And like you said, the satellite can't take pictures, but they will have to take pictures on the bottom to bring up to see what they're looking at. And then the silt can get in the way of any recovery operations with finding the black boxes, etc. They're discounting that it'll really get in the way of the sonar, and that in some cases it might actually help the sonar. So it's more practicality.
And there's also this description of it that it's like a swamp on the bottom of the ocean. And it did remind something to me. I have a boat sits in 2.5 feet of water. I dropped my iPhone next to the boat. I knew exactly where. Couldn't find it. It was 9 inches down in silt. So it can be a problem. I get it. My personal pain aside. David Susi, Mary Schiavo, thank you very much for